Welcome to Good Morning Football. We are presented by Bass Pro Shops, and this league is changing. It's the 100th year of the NFL. There's new, there's old, and everything in between. And this is our show. We're brought to you, of course, by Bass Pro Shops here on September 18th. My name's Kay Adams, Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, and Kyle Brandt all here. And Kyle, we've got quite a show.
Oh, my goodness. Is there anything better in our lives right now than Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson? I mean, is there anything better than that? So good. Huge game this weekend. Where do the Chiefs and Ravens stack up? In Nate Burleson's rankings, we're going to fight his 5, which means we're just going to bust Nate's chops. And we're going to look at Hollywood and Kelsey and all these Chiefs and Ravens, Lamar versus Mahomes. And how about this, guys? Eli on the bench. We are going down to the street, the real streets of New York, to do a little Letterman-style top 10 moments from the home office in Sioux City, Iowa. Our favorite Eli moments. Some of you might not remember. And do you know the Gong Show? You might not. But do you know the Long Show? It has to do with long passes. On this show, it is a new segment that we love, where we go on the biggest bombs of the whole week, and then we do all kinds of stunts and have fun because it's Good Morning Football.
Was that a flea flicker, Kyle?
It really was. We flicked the flea, and we got a new era in Pittsburgh, too.
We do, and we also have Hannah Storm on our show.
Oh,
Andrea
my gosh.
Kramer. They're joining us live here in studio. Two pioneers paving the way on TNF on Amazon. It is right now time for the
lead block.
Yes, it is. We're going to start right here in New York. Of course we are, because the Giants announced that Eli Manning will be benched for their Week 3 matchup against the Buccaneers. It is the rookie 6th overall pick, Daniel Jones, starting in his place. Let's flash back to before the season started. Of course, Giants president and CEO John Mara was asked about the possibility of Daniel Jones seeing the field this season, and here's what he had to say then.
I hope Eli has a great year and Daniel never sees the field. I mean, that would be in an ideal world that you'd like to see that. So, but again, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be a decision by the head coach as to when, or if Daniel ends up playing this year.
If Daniel doesn't play one snap as a rookie, you'd be okay with that?
I'd be very happy about that, because it means that we're having a great year and Eli's having a great year.
That was back on August 13th. Kim Jones joining us now live from East Rutherford. Thanks for hanging out on Good Morning Football. What happened between that date, August 13th, and now, when they decided to bench him and start DJ?
Well, Kay, I'll play off John Mara saying, he hopes it's a great year. It hasn't been a great start. And the Giants are 0-2. They are 5 for 23 on third down conversions. They scored 17 points against the Cowboys. I believe they scored 31 total in their 2 games. So the New York Giants offense is simply not humming. And frankly, they've run out of other people to blame. The offensive line, to Dave Gettleman's credit, has been fixed. It is much better. You can imagine it being even better with a mobile quarterback. They can't blame Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. And the blame ends up going to Eli Manning. The timing is a question. They clearly didn't have a ton of conviction about starting Eli overall. If 2 games in, they're going to make a change. But they do have conviction about Daniel Jones. I think that's been clear all offseason and certainly during the preseason.
Kim, you've covered Eli back to the Star-Ledger days, so I ask you, what does this mean for the future of Eli Manning and the Giants? It's not like he's going to retire this afternoon. Where does he go from here?
I think what we now know is it won't be a storybook ending for Eli Manning. Very few get that. Michael Strahan did here. He won a Super Bowl, retired, and look at him now. For Eli Manning, it will not be that kind of a scenario. He has a no-trade clause, Peter, as I'm sure you and the fellas and Kay know. So I'm not so sure that you're talking about a trade with Eli Manning. You are talking about Eli Manning, who will hold himself to a high standard as a teammate. He always has, and my sense is he will be a very good teammate to Daniel Jones. So, and talk about storybooks, he got them in his Super Bowls. He got them in Super Bowl 42, the helmet catch, and then finding Plaxico Burress for the game-winning touchdown with seconds to play. He got it 4 years later, again against the Patriots, a drive that started with a perfect rainbow to Mario Manningham as he drove for the winning touchdown. So he's had a couple of storybook finishes. This season, though, will not be one.
And, of course, those 2 Super Bowls, all of the memories flooding in on Twitter, on sports radio here on the East Coast. We'll have the reaction from fans as well. Kim Jones, you'll be with us all morning long, and we appreciate you coming to us from East Rutherford this morning. Back here in studio in New York City, we're feeling it this morning.
Yeah.
We're feeling it for the past 24 hours. So, Nate, what was your reaction when you heard the news, and what do you make of it going forward?
I wasn't shocked at all. I felt like the writing was on the wall. As soon as they drafted Daniel Jones, number 6 overall, I thought to myself, he's going to be on the field sooner than later. And people thought I was crazy. I just had a gut feeling. You don't draft a guy that high to sit him on the bench for the next 3 years, even though that's what they said. That's the narrative they were putting out there. You know, the last couple of days, there's news that shocked me. This wasn't it. I mean, I heard that Saved by the Bell was having a reboot.
For real?
Punky Brewster's having a reboot.
Yep.
The only difference between that news and Eli is you can't reboot a legend's career. Now, Eli is a legend. Let's make sure we understand that, and we can appreciate that. Kim Jones said he will not have a storybook ending. And we kind of felt a certain type of way, like, well, let me tell everybody this. Most NFL players don't have a storybook ending. Most NFL players don't accomplish half of the things, a quarter of the things that Eli has in his career. But I can't help but to think about this. After the Monday night game, wouldn't it have been amazing to have now Daniel Jones, an athletic mobile quarterback, Saquon, the best running back in the business, and Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I know that ship has sailed. I know people at home saying, Nate, don't remind us. You know what? I don't have to, because Odell reminded all of us how great he was. And I said it over the summer. I said it when all the drama was going down. We're going to look back at Odell. We're going to look at him versus other guys that are in the news and say to ourselves, it just wasn't that bad for us to get rid of him. But here we are, now with Daniel Jones. The era has started. Let's see if he can kind of recreate some of the magic that Eli gave us for so long.
Okay, I scratched my head a little bit, because this is not surprising that there's a new quarterback after the first 2 weeks, but it's surprising after what we heard all offseason and how this team was built. Like, we heard about the Kansas City model, that you're going to let him watch for a while, and that's what they did with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. That's what Dave Gettleman said at the Combine. And then when Daniel Jones was drafted, we heard that it might be 1 year, it might be 2 years until Eli gives up that thing, and then John Mara had those quotes there. And then you look at the salary cap. Like, it's not like Eli's playing for a pittance here. Eli Manning is making more than any other player on the Giants, and by a long shot.
Whoa.
So it's $23 million for a guy who...
For your backup quarterback.
For your backup quarterback that by week 3 you're like, all right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Well, if you're going to rip the Band-Aid off then, why not rip the Band-Aid off in July? Because back in March, he got a $5 million workout bonus that you just gave him and said, okay, well, we're going to go from here. Look, I think Eli's great. He's a legend. We're going to talk about all this, and I actually think the Giants are going to be in good hands for the next few years with Daniel Jones as the quarterback. They really like him. But man, oh man, does this go against everything we've heard and how everything was built in New York? And Nate, to your point, yeah, it would have been really cool to have 3 young guys. Daniel Jones, Saquon, Odell Beckham's really cool. I'm not going to argue that. Instead, you have what you have, and you have a $17 million cap hit sitting on Eli Manning the rest of the year to a guy who played 2 games.
You know what I felt? I felt relief. Like I said it yesterday, it's time. Enough. And there are people that we love and respect, Sean O'Hara, Kurt Warner, that are really upset by this. They're even angry by it. And maybe if I was a teammate of Eli's, I'd feel differently. All I do is watch him. And I see a guy who's a 500 player who over the last 3 seasons has been the 32nd ranked quarterback in the league. The problem is, that makes it complicated, is we personalize this as football fans. Like, Eli, if you're into football, really, Eli is almost like, he's like a friend. He's almost like our little brother. There's something people our age generally that we run into is we get a call from our mom or our dad, and they tell us that they're choosing to move out of our childhood home. And they're going to a condo, and it's going to be nice and easy, and they'll have one of those Nest thermostats, and life's going to be great. But it rips our heart out, because that's something that we grew up with. And it's like, it's okay to say goodbye. Like, go ahead and watch that 2011 Eli season. Go to your mom's and play the N64 games one more time. Watch Tyree. Watch Manningham. Go to your mom's and find the SoCo bottle you stashed and the box with the VHS tapes and the magazines. Okay, it's fine, because it's what's better for the Giants. It's what's better. And you know what? If you really care about Eli, do you want this thing to end with Eli being the quarterback of a 2-7 team getting booed off the field after another punt at MetLife Stadium? Because that is where it's going. It's inevitable. It's time. It was a great run. It was a great house. It's better for your mom, and it's better for the Giants.
He wasn't going to play forever. I think that everyone just needs to wrap their heads around that. But Kim mentioned something, and you mentioned that cap hit. That's wild to me. $23.2 million. A lot of talk about trading Eli because there are so many needs at the quarterback spot. So, Schrags, I want to bounce this off of you because I made a list here. There's just no room at the end. There's no cap space anywhere. You look at the teams that need him. The Jaguars. Minshew looks kind of promising, and Nick Foles is returning this year. The Steelers, I do think they want to see what Mason Rudolph has going on, and they don't have any cap space. The Saints, they've got 2 quarterbacks. They don't need one, and they can't sign him either. The Jets, I mean, no chance they're ever going to do that. So where would he go unless there's some catastrophe catastrophic injury at the QB spot elsewhere, Manning is staying on the bench there in New York, right?
I would be shocked if Eli Manning ever wore another jersey other than the New York Giants. And he's got that no-trade clause. So
that's a no-trade clause.
Me to Jacksonville, as much as I love Coughlin.
But people are making the Coughlin the Louisiana comparisons.
We've seen Montana do it. We've seen Favre do it. We've seen the unthinkable. But I feel like the Giants would do anything.
His brother did it.
His brother did it.
Yeah.
He won a Super Bowl. This is a different deal.
Just wanted to get that out there. At GMFB with your thoughts. We'd love to hear your favorite memories of Eli Manning. We know all New York Giants fans are reliving the glory, as you should, remembering the good times in those 2 Super Bowls and beating the brakes off of Brady and Belichick.